Guys, welcome Muskie Road Rules Podcast and Patreon. Guys, thanks for tuning in and listening every week. And for the Patreon members, thanks for watching and thanks for becoming a member. We've been doing this thing now on Patreon for almost a year and a half. We got a lot of episodes up there. And to become a member, it's super, super easy. All you got to do is go to patreon.com, search Muskie, and we're going to pop up there. And to become a member, it's $8 a month. And to be a member, you're going to be entered into our monthly drawings for baits. This month, we have from Brendan of Big Action Baits. We've got one of his gliders here. It's a really, really cool Cisco colored glider. The guy's an amazing painter and does a great job at them. Super cool action on the baits. He's from out in Eastern Ontario. So if you become a member this month, at the end of the month, I will be drawing to win one of these baits. So make sure you check that out. Guys, we got the PMTT coming up in Eagle River, the second leg, which my ass needs to catch fish in. So I can actually be in the championship up here at my home, which we are hosting at Jerry's Bar up in the Northwest Angle. And I do not want to be serving a burger when that championship's going on. So what I did is I recruited one of the guys, the chief in charge over there at Eagle River. I got Mr. Clayton Spiess on with me right now tonight, and I'm going to try to hound him for some information. And you're lucky because I'm here. You're listening to this as well. You might get some nuggets here. Clayton, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Good, good. That's a hell of a house you got there, man. That looks pretty cool back there.
Yeah.
Got some. I see a muskie on the wall with is that a bulldog in its mouth?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the story behind that guy?
That was my first 50-incher. I caught it up here on Big River Vital Lake in St. Germain during the Greater Wisconsin Muskie Tournament. One fall, it was the first time, actually the only time I ever fished that tournament. Rob Manthey and St. Germain Chamber of Commerce puts the tournament on, and we stumbled into that giant right away in the first hour of the tournament and then went to the bar.
Nice. Well, that's a hell of, what color dog is that? Is that a walleye dog?
Yeah, Rick Lax made a custom mold of a Winnipeg walleye for me. That's what I got on a Mag Dog.
Oh, nice. Well, that's got to be cool. Anytime you can get a 50-incher is awesome, but if you can get it in a tournament, that makes it even cooler to be able to do that. That's a lot of fun. Well, what's been going on? You're over there in the Eagle River area, and how's it been over there? I mean, I'm up here on Lake of the Woods in the Northwest Angle right now, and when I got here, it was really hot. It was like July temps and everything, but now over the last 7 days, it's really cooled down. We're looking at highs in the 60s right now, upper 60s, maybe tickling 70. A couple of days into the low 70s, but it's kind of cool out. What are you guys seeing?
Same. We had, this typical cold, spring for a while, and then it scorched up into the 80s, mid 80s, and temperature spiked up, and everything was progressing really well. And actually, we had like mid 70s for water temps, at least surface for, good handful of days, almost a week, and it's been cold front after cold front since. I mean, we needed rain. We were in a drought, and now it just rains every day.
Yeah. I was talking before we started recording here. I've been kind of watching the forecast over there because we'll be heading there next week. And it showed today, it looked like you guys were getting hit. You guys have gotten some pretty good storms, haven't you, over the last few days?
Yeah, there was actually a condo on the chain, half of a condo that burned up from a lightning strike. And in the same storm, a giant tree right on the same property, just a few houses down, blew up. There were huge chunks of wood out in the channel of the river chain and stuff.
What complex was it? What
the Lake Forest.
Which
condos.
One is that?
That's across from the Chanticleer
okay.
bar there in between Eagle and Voyager.
Yep. I remember when that used to be a boat ramp.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, is that golf course still there, or did they get rid of that?
It's there. It's just overgrown with weeds and grass now. They closed it. the pro shop ended up being condemned. It was just in really, really bad shape. And
no shit. I've eaten at that little bar there several times, and it was, it didn't seem like the safest place.
Hey, but it was fun.
Yeah, no, it was great. They had good burgers. I had many a burger there, pre-fishing and stuff. It was a great place to stop. It just right there. You could pull in, eat, and get out. I mean, it was a good little 30-minute break and stuff. So I was always wondering. I knew it was up for sale, or it had been up for sale the last time we were there, and I didn't know if anything had ever been done.
Yeah,
been done with it.
There's a handful of people that went in on the property, bought it, and they're putting up like townhouses and condos and stuff. And so far, all the new buildings are away from the water. You can't even see them, but they're currently putting in a whole bunch of new docks and everything in there. It's going to get a little tighter in there, but
sure,
whatever.
Well, no, I totally get it. How has the spring been so far? Like from let's say the old Wisconsin opener, the Memorial Day till now. How has it been?
Sure. So opening weekend, the old opener, I guess I'm still going to call it opening weekend because we didn't target muskies until that time.
Sure.
I believe we had a little bit of a cold front or something going on, and it was most of the fish were still spawning up here. And those that fished up here, maybe not everybody, but from most of the reports I heard, kind of struggled a little bit. It was a little bit slower. I went down and fished the Green Bay system in the tributaries per the last like 3 or 4 years with some of my friends, and the bite was insane down there. Again, people just whacked them really well. Our boat. Our boat kind of struggled a little bit. We were one of the boats this time that, got to watch the action in front of and behind us. We did catch fish, but it was a little bit slower for us. I dumped like a 4-footer, which was one of my best chances to get one on opening weekend. And then we lost like a 52, 53 when we were trolling just out of the net, which was a little bit of a heartbreak, but
sure.
Yeah. Second weekend, I went back down there with Gus. I brought Gus down the second weekend, and we found a really good pattern. We actually did really well. The second weekend, I think we got like 9 or something like that while we were down there. So.
Oh, wow. Casting or trolling?
Casting. That was all casting.
Okay. Good deal. Any real big ones?
We saw some megas, probably some swimmers that were huge that, were either spawning or setting up to pre-spawn that weren't interested in baits, probably up to like 55. But our biggest that we got was 47 and change, something like that. Gus got.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a good deal. How's it been around home?
So we are kind of right in the middle of the bug hatch right now. So like on the Eagle River chain and Three Lakes chain. Three Lakes chain seems like it's a little bit behind Eagle River chain as far as the hatch is concerned. Fish are super scattered out there on both of those chains. Like always, there's fish in the weeds. And if you're casting that stuff, you can still get them up in the weeds. And then there's a pile of fish out in open water right now, too, that we've been able to catch while we're out trolling around.
Sure.
Way.
How now you guys just had the Spring Classic, which has been going on forever up there. I've actually fished it myself a couple of times, and that was last weekend. And you guys ended up placing, correct?
We did. We got 7th place.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. Kind of how'd that work out for you?
So we did some pre-fishing for it. We had both fish, shallow and deep. And we started off shallow on Saturday, and we were fishing. It's a lot like everything was pull pause for us. It's the only thing we could get fish to eat on. A lot of twitch baits and little diving eyes like the Chaos Navens and little Suics, which we just absolutely, there's a million pike in there right now that are 18 to 24 inches, just super annoying. So you got to weed through all these pike, but there's muskies right in with them. I know a lot of people are like, if I start catching pike, I just leave. Well, you're going to have to leave the chain then and go to a different place.
Is that new to have all those pike in there?
It's got to be year class. They must have had just an incredible hatch or something, because there weren't a lot of pike in there. I feel like people did a really good job of keeping the pike population down for a while, and now all of a sudden there's this new, like this year class of 21 to 24s that there's hundreds of thousands of them all over the place. And
good. I can't wait.
Well, the big old musky bait hooks are starting to do a little bit of a number on them. I don't know that all of them necessarily swam away, unfortunately. They go kamikaze on big baits, and
sometimes they go to sleep.
Yeah, and then they become eagle food. But
yeah, exactly. What was the water temp this weekend during the tournament?
We had at the warmest 67, and at the coldest like 65, 64, I believe.
Okay.
Depending on where you were on the chain. And it's really, I think it's getting super consistent throughout the chain now. It doesn't matter where you are on it. It's just been cold and rain, and it's super windy, so it's all turned up. There's no like necessarily hot spots right now, or it's all very consistent, which is, I think we're getting to the point now where the fish are just going to start eating because they have to eat at some point, and they're eating better than what they are. Right now, it seems like extremely short windows, where they'll bite, if you get one window a day, maybe 2 windows in a full day, that's about it. And they're pretty short, but
yeah. What about watercolor out there? How's that looking?
I love it. It's actually pretty cloudy because we've had some extreme wind and we've got a lot of rain. So they're moving, a lot of water on Friday and Saturday of the tournament, and Friday before, maybe even Thursday, they were moving a lot of water through the system. So we were getting a lot of water from Three Lakes chain, which is the dark stain, but clear. Mm-hmm. And then we have all these swamps that are draining in there as well from, every nook and cranny of the chain, which was kind of a little bit cloudier. And then with the wind, it just kind of mixed all up. So it actually has what I like is a really good color to it with some cloudiness. I don't really care for it when it's super clear. These fish are just so pressured that when you have clear water, they don't like to interact both sides. And we're getting fish to eat in the 8 and stuff right now, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, are the fish, that's kind of what I was curious about, is with this watercolor, and I figured it'd be a little dirty with the rain and stuff that you're talking about. How do you know when they're going to dump water from the dam? I mean, is there like a thing you can go to that'll tell you, or is it just all of a sudden one day, hey, there's current going through here?
I think there is a website, I don't know it offhand, that you can check and see if there's like what the CFM is running through the dams, but they don't tell you ahead of time. I don't know I have no idea who like determines. There's like a couple old guys probably that are retired that just like get up in the morning to sip some coffee and look at the water level on Three Lakes chain and be like, oh, looks like we better open the dam up a little bit,
A little too high. I got my feet wet walking over there the other day, and it's we don't like that.
I'm sure there's more science to it than that, but what I just do is I just go and as we're cruising through the channels or whatever, I'm watching the buoys to see if they're moving and if there's current ripping through there. And that's my fastest sign to see if there's current or not.
Now, is that a chain that you have noticed that current does make a difference?
Yeah. The fish will move into the channels, and especially around the mouths of the channels when there's current. Mm-hmm. They did stack up in one channel. Oh, when was it? It was like mid last week. We found a whole pile of fish in one channel that had just moved in there, and they were kind of all over the place. And I thought that they would stay there even after the current stopped for a couple of days, but we kind of went looking for them during the tournament, and they weren't there anymore. So, that was like Sunday, the current had stopped, and it seemed like as soon as it stopped, they moved out. I don't know what the deal is. Or they just hid really well from us.
So on Saturday, how did you guys get both? You got 2 fish, both of them on Saturday, or did you get one each day? Or
no, we got a short to start off in the morning, actually in one of the channels, and then we went and tried open water for quite a while. We were actually on a bunch of fish and a whole bunch of bugs, but that just wasn't working. Like every fish that we side imaged, or that we thought that we put a bait close to, wanted nothing to do with bait. So we went back shallow and found a pretty hot bite out there in some good green weeds on just snapping the crap out of twitch baits.
Okay. What kind of baits were you popping?
One of the ones is a is a Hammer Customs prototype. He's got I call it the tack hammer, and I'm hoping that he makes this next year. He's going to work on a metal lip for it, but I want to say it's like 7.5 inch. Okay. It's a small version of his sledgehammer. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe he might even start making them with a weight insert. So you can get it a little bit more suspending. But right now, this one is just a pretty fast rise wood bait, with a square lip on it. And I was just snapping it as fast as I could and as hard as I could with like a medium to a heavy action rod, and then long pauses, 1 or 2 long pauses on the way back to the boat. And
is that a balsa bait, or is it a
I think he's made out of cedar, and I don't know if that's what he's gonna keep making them. I think the balsa, he tried some baits with balsa and he didn't really care for it. It was a little inconsistent. And the cedar seems to be a little bit more consistent as far as what it weighs. Yeah.
I just didn't know, because cedar rises really, really fast. It's super buoyant and everything. And that's something that I know, it's good, especially like for the crane baits and stuff like that. And it's always been, I did good in Ohio this spring on it was actually a Jack Cobb copy of a crane, but it was a cedar, or not a cedar, but a balsa bait, and just twitching it really fast in like 2-3 feet of water.
Yep.
And it worked good because it stayed really high for me.
Sure.
In that. What's that other dude you got there?
So this one here, I actually just picked up another one of these from Guide's Choice in Eagle River today. It's like the M7 Spanky, I think. Maybe isn't that the old grandma, like 7-inch grandma?
Yep, very similar.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the same thing. It's a little bit of a narrower, slender style body. So this one's probably a little bit more erratic than Nick's is. Dances around a little bit more with a little less effort. But these have been pretty hot as well.
Yeah. Now, when you're twitching them through the weeds, are you trying to make contact with the weeds and rip them off? Or are you?
Yeah, trying to. I'm just snapping through the tops of them. You get weeds, stuck to it every once in a while, but I don't know that as long as they can still see the bait, I don't know that it matters. Once the window opens up, they do kind of go into pretty good attack mode. Like they're very, very aggressive in their eating. Once the window opened up, it seemed like.
Now those baits like that, like your twitch baits, are you getting many follows on those, or is that like we're just catching?
Just catching.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually did get one of the fish in the 8, and it came in suicidal, tried to eat immediately. Actually, it was on a baby shallow raider, and the bait kind of disappeared in the mouth of the fish, and my partner Tom set the hook and the bait just came right out, and he's like, "Oh, I totally screwed up." But he did one more figure 8 and the fish just flew back around and ate it again. So
yeah.
Kind of one of those meant to be things.
Those patterns they're nice, but they're hard patterns for guys that are like, if they're not used to the area or know the area, to say there's definitely fish here, we just got to keep grinding it out. If you're not getting any kind of follow or reward of seeing fish, it's a tough pattern to do. But being the water so well and stuff, it makes it to where you're willing to put in the time and the effort, even though you're not seeing the follows and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the one reward that you're going to get from doing that is you're going to get a bunch of pike, like I said before. And I know it's not really a reward, but the muskies, like, it seemed like if we were around pike and muskies, they were kind of together, and that means that there was bait there. So, like, if you can't necessarily pick out the bait on your side image or, whatever you're using, and you just are working through the area, if you're not even getting a pike bite, then just leave, because there's probably no bait there. And it seemed like you needed to have the bait, like, on the break, on the weed edge or whatever, in order for there to be pike and And walleyes and bass. We caught some
Yeah.
smallies, all everything.
Were you like doing inside weed edge, or were you just right up in it?
We did. We got inside to out a little bit. We got up on top of it and cast it even shallower. And actually on Sunday, I think we had even colder. Started off at like 46 degrees in the morning for air temp. So we slid even shallower, and we switched to dive and rise, like this Naven here, whatever. I got a bite on this Naven, which is pretty destroyed. Here's my pretty side.
Yeah.
On that one or whatever. Weighted down and slowed our presentation down, kind of got away from the twitch baits, and I hooked up on a really, really big fish on this. Actually, I couldn't move it. I thought it was a snag, and then it just started slow head shaking, heading for deep water. I probably had it on for like 2 or 3 seconds, and it popped off. I don't think I ever had it hooked. I think it just locked onto the bait, and I couldn't move it. With a medium heavy rod, I didn't move it through its mouth when it ate and dumped that one. But that seemed to work really well, depending on what.
Now those Navens there, they have a weight insert. I noticed you had a weight on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
What does the weight do to that as far as the action and stuff? What's kind of the action on those lures?
I'm doing really short. I'm still like almost twitching it, but just a little bit slower. So not as fast as I was twitching the lip bait. This was more like a twitch, and it kind of dances then. You're kind of trying to make it dance underwater. And then this weight here is just kind of slowing down the rise on it. I don't want it to rise quite as fast as those twitch baits, like the wooden twitch baits do. They rise super fast. I'm trying to let it hang a little bit longer because the fish were in a little bit more of a neutral mood. There weren't nearly as many fish caught on Sunday, though some of the biggest fish were caught on Sunday. But the fish seemed like they were way more lazy and not willing to chase. We never really saw anything super charged up. They were all kind of neutral fish that we were just trying to come on, get it right in their face and get them to commit to it.
Sure. No, I get it. How is the weed growth on the chain right now?
It's looking good. I think it's really good. It started off kind of slow, but when we got that really warm weather, like the mid 80s and stuff, and a lot of sun for a couple weeks, it caught right up. We actually have this weed that's a real pain in the butt to fish through. It's a real fine grass, like a sandgrass, hair sandgrass that's already starting to come up. And on side image, it just looks like real wispy, almost look like wispy clouds on your side image or whatever. And it's not real like dense cabbage look to it. And I know for sure once that stuff really gets set up and the muskies are in their summer pattern, they absolutely love hanging around that stuff. I can't say that we caught any fish around it this weekend, but that could change. But it's really starting to come up pretty thick already, and it's super bright green, lush right now.
Yeah, that stuff last year was I know I seen a lot of it kind of at the mouth of the river there in Yellow Birch. And it was, as we were trying when we got there last year, during the championship the year before, or 2 years before, I caught a fish trolling that high over top of it, and I tried to do it with some crankbaits. We made one pass, and I'm like, this is not going to work. No, nope. I was like, this is awful. Yeah. And so we got out of there, but I know it actually worked for some guys in the tournament, though, that were running blade baits and stuff through there. They were able to get some fish to go, but no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Lake of the Woods here, we have some of that. I call it spaghetti type stuff that grows real shallow like that the fish will actually use. But if you're throwing a bucktail in it, as soon as you hit one strand, it'll screw up your entire bucktail, spinnerbait, whatever.
Is that like that string bean? I call it string bean weeds, where they grow like a long, like almost like a green bean on top of it.
Yeah, they'll grow a pod and all that. Yeah, it's a very it's annoying as hell, but the fish will use it. The fish will be there, and it grows in like 3 feet and less. It's a really shallow type of weed, but the fish definitely do use it. And like you said, in a summer pattern, there's times when they really, really like the junk that junk weed and stuff, and I've done really, really well in it. How many fish were caught in the Classic?
I was actually just looking that up here. I believe.
Yeah, I thought it was like 39 or
Yep,
like
39 fish caught.
Okay. Yeah, Pete sent me the thing at the end. What was the biggest was like 42 3/4 or something like that?
That was on Saturday, and on Sunday there was a 47 1/4 caught
Oh, wow.
by a lady. I think it was her first muskie ever.
Well, of course.
Naturally.
I mean,
that's typical for this tournament. Every year somebody gets a giant, and it's like, oh, that was my first muskie ever.
I'd always heard about these. I just learned to cast a bait caster last week, and actually I caught it on a bobber. It was caught on a backlash.
Yep.
On a bucktail on the bottom. I
went and picked up a bobber, and there was line attached to it, and then there was a muskie on it.
Oh yeah. Good stuff. That's I know. Hell, I've heard it all. I know, and I'm sure you have too. When it comes to that, but that's what was the consensus of the tournament as far as like the bite? Was it mainly a stop and go deal, hard bait bite, or was there fish caught on?
There were fish caught on pit bulls. There was fish caught on Mepps muskie killers. There was
any topwater yet?
I didn't hear of any.
Yeah,
I saw people throwing it. I didn't hear of any, though. I got a feeling they'll eat topwater next week, because it's going to warm up just enough, I think, to kind of start warming the water back up a little bit. And I think that's all it's going to need is just a little bit more warmth instead of dropping every single day. Like right now, I think it's just consistently, slowly dropping.
Yeah.
Because we just keep getting rain and cold weather.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If you could get some sunshine for a couple days, it'd probably really help that. How is I know you like rubber, soft plastic stuff. How's that bite been?
Non-existent for me. I think I scare every fish away every time I cast a side image fish. Out there, I mean, I guess we've gotten some on some of the smaller lakes around here off the chain or whatever. So they are eating it. And the team that took second, I think they caught on pit bulls, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So there is a rubber bite going. I think some fish were caught on tubes per usual again. But those will work. I'm sure of it this upcoming weekend. I mean, you'll be able to get fish on rubber. They'll be
it's just it seems like to me, and all the guys I talk to that I have talked to, is that it seems like it's been a slower roll this year. Even guys here in Minnesota I've talked to, it definitely seems like it's been a little slow start, especially like with the blades and everything. So it does seem like the bodied baits, hard baits or rubber have definitely been a little bit better. And you got to equate that to the colder spring, the way it's been. How's it looking? So like right now, if somebody was coming up and you'd say a good pattern, what would be something that you said that you would be like, this is what I think should be happening?
Well, right now, this week, I'd be out there trolling. Well, I have been trolling. We've been casting and trolling. We were getting kind of mostly lazy follows casting this week so far, and then we've been catching fish trolling. So that's been really good, and it will continue to be really good for at least another week yet. It looks like the hex flies, the bigger mayflies, have just started hatching. There's going to be some that pop tonight, and then there's a big wad of them down at like 15 feet on a couple of lakes. There's going to be a mega hatch, probably, I don't know. I think it takes a little bit for them to come up. So probably like Sunday, Monday, something like that. There's going to be a big hatch again.
Okay. So if you're trolling out there, what's like a basic thing to tell somebody, here's how I would go about trolling?
Just make sure you're fishing above the bugs, I guess, and above the bait. That's the biggest thing. Like, I think when I first started trolling out there, and as I learned, I used to run deep enough, like 9-10 feet, where I wanted to make contact with tips of points and stuff. And that's all fine. And we did catch, muskies doing that, but I've had a lot more success now running a little bit of a shorter line out there and keeping that bait, 5 to 8 feet, somewhere in there. Don't be afraid of speed either.
Mm-hmm.
I think it seems like the warmer days we go faster and we do well. And then on colder days, we got to slow down just a little bit. They seem like they just go with the weather. But yesterday we got one trolling on the chain on the outside, making a hard turn. That bait had to have been doing like 4.6, and we caught a short one, like a 29-incher or something like that. So I don't know if you can go too fast, but you're going to cover a lot more water when you go fast. But I don't know. I think our juice has been like 3.7.
Yeah. Are you a big board guy? Do you run a lot of boards or flat lines?
Not if I don't have to. Down rods are easy.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, boards, especially floating weeds and boards, that'll make you want to shoot yourself.
There's a lot of chop out there. If the weather gets halfway decent, you get all the pleasure boaters, there's going to be chopped up weeds all over the place floating around. So
yeah, and that's
usually
usually
a little bit of pain.
Always during the PMTT. I love the pirate ship with the usually the bachelorette party on it that can go by and just scream at you as you're catching anything.
No, leave me alone.
Yeah, all the drunken people just yelling at you while you're fishing. What these bugs? I mean, is that something? I know you said you think it'll be good for another week or so. Do you do much, or have you done much trolling after the bug hatch, or is it more just? It seems like the weed, they move in a little bit.
I think once the bug hatch is done, most of the fish on the Eagle River chain move into the weeds, and we have no problem casting for them. And most people that I get in my boat want to cast. They don't really want to troll.
Sure.
We'll take, if we do like full days or longer days, sometimes we'll take a little break and troll around for a little bit. But I'll probably be trolling over the weeds then at that point, with blades or, closer to the break than more so than in the open water.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll vacate. I mean, if there's bait out there, they'll stay out there for a little while, but usually once the food's gone, the food leaves the whole food chain. Bugs are gone. The bait heads back into cover and the muskies follow them.
What do you think the main forage base is out there on the chain?
Probably perch and suckers, be my guess.
Okay. So those balls of bait you see are probably small perch.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I always kind of thought they were. Was the little perch and stuff out there, and you'll find areas where your damn screen will black out sometimes. It'll be so thick with them.
Oh yeah.
Then I always thought that was kind of neat. How so as this thing transitions and it warms up and your season kind of moves on like into July, August, what's kind of a good rule of thumb pattern that you like to play around with?
So I guess once the fish move back into the weeds and things start warming up, usually we run a combination of different blades. 1 to 2 people throw blades and then like a rubber or top water mixed in with there. If we have a cold front, then I go back to something a little bit slower, like a dive and rise, a little bit slower presentation. But it's just a consistent good bite, typically with some sort of blades and rubber. And when I mean rubber too, not just pull paws, like if I can get people to rip rubber, do that. But otherwise, like a swimming dog or something. Swimming dogs crush fish out there.
Sure.
Year after year.
Yeah, almost just. And that's one thing that actually before I left Kentucky was working for me. Just anything from doing a pull pause with a swimming dog, or we got some on straight retrieve. Or just popping the reel and getting it to kind of act erratically out there as it comes in. We caught fish on those doing that. And to me, it kind of makes a swim bait like that, regardless of whatever kind of swim bait you'd like. It kind of adds a great complement to a bucktail. If they're not eating blades, you got this thing coming in that's a little more subtle, a little more natural. And I think that's something that the fish... it's added a complement to a bucktail that will go through the same zone that the fish are setting in.
Definitely.
So what's it? What's your favorite time? What's your favorite time out there?
I love July, August, and into September when the water's like mid 70s or whatever, and the bloom just starts happening, and the fish are eating extremely fast blades, and a lot of it, like 60 to 70% of our fish are boat side at that time. And, everyone gets to interact and just see them come cruising in and, try and teach people to do really good figure eights. And when they can capitalize on that, it's probably the most exciting,
Sure.
bites of anything. So
Sure.
I really, really enjoy that.
Now, colors wise out there, because it is stained water, what do you see like as consistent colors in your area?
Man, it seems like the best color changes every year.
Sure.
But
Sure.
one thing that stayed really consistent over the years, it seems like, is like a Goldilocks color, especially on sunny days. Something with gold blades or gold copper, and like a brown or brown gold red, mixture of skirt. Tinsel used most of the time. We're using tinsel, a little bit of marabou or feathers and stuff, but I'm almost strictly tinsel running, because in that cloudy, dirty water, you want a lot of flash and a lot of vibration. And I think it's kind of important, because I think most of our forage is pretty small out there. So having a shorter bait or smaller blades or a short bait seems to help a lot, versus a really, really long, like double or triple skirt, with even like the Huntsy tails, we throw them all the time. The 7/8 single seems to be the king. And, anything longer than that, they've really, a lot of times they won't eat that as much as they do just a single skirt. They like that smaller stuff out there.
Yeah. And even the bigger fish out there, I know you've gotten some really nice fish out on the chain. And do you think the fish on the chain are getting bigger?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're finding,
definitely.
Used to be when we would talk Eagle River chain 15 years ago or so, it was like you were lucky to get a 40-incher.
Right.
And now it seems like you're hearing about more and more bigger fish getting caught. Why do you think that?
I think better handling and of fish, more education and people taking better care of the resource. These fish eat all the time, and, they get caught all the time. And I think people are getting, are better. There's better anglers out there. And, with electronics, you're able to find and catch these fish maybe that, weren't getting caught before. Although sometimes I wonder too, like I always heard rumors back in the day of big fish getting caught. It just seemed like there was never really a whole lot of proof, and I didn't necessarily see it myself. But I think the fact that I guide out there and I'm out there all the time, I'm more likely to be around when that excellent day, when all the stars align and those big fish slide up. They literally have to slide up for like 24 to 48 hours and eat, and then they're gone. And when they're gone, I really can't find them at all. They're like in the abyss. But if you think open water, you should be able to drive around and find them. But they're extremely hard to find when they're not up in the weeds feeding.
What about like does it have do you find many fish on the cribs out there? Because I know the Eagle River chain has a lot of cribs. I've marked a ton of them over the years.
Yeah, they do. They definitely use them off and on. I think, I know in the fall it works really well. Like we drag suckers over the cribs and catch a lot of fish that way. They're definitely out there then. I think, I would say they use them from time to time in the summertime too. They probably go out there and feed if there's crappies, rock bass or, perch around the cribs. They'll go out and feed on them. I don't know that they hang out there though a ton. It seems like it's brief when they show up. So it's just kind of like we'll fish like a weed edge, casting that. And then when I, know where there's a crib at, we'll turn out, take a couple casts, or I'll take a little look with side image and see, if there's anything that we can tell that's out there, bait or anything, and then focus on it. But otherwise, right now they're using them for sure, because that's the structure in the deepest water, of open water. So even though muskies, are out, you call in the basin or whatever, away from structure, if there's any kind of structure close by where the bugs are going, they'll definitely hang out around that stuff. The subtle little rock pile, or, the crib, or a sunken boat. There's sunken boats all over out there too. They lay right in those boats, it seems like. So
sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Anything that they can use as structure, I definitely get it. Well, that's cool, man. Well, I tell you what, I really appreciate you coming on here and giving us some information and talking about it. What's a way somebody can get a hold of you if they want to go muskie fishing?
Oh, you can give me a call or text me, and my phone number is 715-891-1046. You can look me up on Facebook with my name, Clayton Spiess, Spiess, or Thistle Do Outdoor Adventures. Kind of a play on words like that'll do, but Thistle, Thistle, space DEW, Outdoor Adventures. Yeah. I'm on Instagram too under my name, and then I have a YouTube channel, Thistle Do Outdoor Adventures.
All right.
So reach me.
You getting anything on film this year yet, or?
We do. Yeah, we actually, my buddy Josh and I that fish Muskie League together, we've had a pretty stellar first 3 weeks so far. We've caught fish every week, which is very rare for us. I usually struggle in June. And we've been able to put fish in the boat every week. We've got some pretty cool bites happen. One of them in particular, Josh has a follow, or actually he was fishing. We were fishing a break line, and he's working a glide bait. And I saw on 360 that there was a fish, straight out in front of us. And I kind of was driving over the top of it. And I said, when you get your bait in, there's going to be a fish like right at your feet. And he's like, oh, okay. So he's like gliding it in, he's looking, he's like, there's nothing there. And he just hits the free spool, lets like 3 feet of line out, and then just stops and stands there for like 5 seconds. And the fish just comes unglued on it with its dead stick glide bait.
No, that's a
pattern.
That's a good pattern right there. Now the fish is probably going, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Never seen that before.
I thought I was here alone. Well, that's cool, man. Well, good deal. Just at the end here, guys, if you're looking at buying some new baits this year, you're interested, check out Thorn Brothers. They've got a whole line of, tons of musky baits, custom colors and stuff you can find. But for me, Thorns has been really good for the rods that they're making, the Stealth series of rods. I've been using them for a few years now, and the Predator series. They've been really, really awesome. Also, if you're looking for electronics or anything for your boat, rods, reels, they're very, very up on the latest and greatest in the technology game, and they do a hell of a job there. So check it out at thornbros.com. Guys, if you're looking at coming up to Lake of the Woods, I do have a few dates open in July, and I got some days at the end of September and early October. You can always reach out to me through battletobeast.com or through the Facebook, through Muskie Hunter, through a lot of different things. Check it out if you're interested in coming up to the Northwest Angle, fishing Lake of the Woods a little bit. Clayton, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on here tonight, and hold on for just a little bit, okay?